All right, so in the previous lesson, we've learned how we can create and save a subdocument in an existing document. But there is one more thing. In real-life examples, or perhaps in experience that you've heard about, it won't work like this. I mean, after all, we're in a lab. This is a course, right? We won't save only one record and say, okay, how's that? My work is done here. Whew, that was a day, huh? Well, sometimes we come back to our application and we want to add a new record. So in this example, it'll be MongoDB. Well, how do we do this? Well, we'll just write up a new test and see whether we can successfully add a new record or not. Okay, so first of all, I want to create another it block here and say adding new record and done callback. Now what we're going to do right here for testing. Well, before we get there, let's make our to-do list. All right, start off by creating a new student. Save it to the database. In order to add articles, we will fetch it and then add article. After that, we will save the updated status and then fetch again, make our assertion. How's that? You want to add anything? All right, let's do it step by step. All right, so we'll start with our first to-do, creating a student. Before I start with that, I want to make this block comment because sometimes it causes errors, okay? Const Jason. He is a new student. It has a name of Jason. I will add to this a new property called articles with an empty array. Now I'm going to save it, and then I'll fetch him. And you already know how we fetch, so let's write student.findOne, and I want to grab Jason. And another dot then, which is called when the result of this find one comes in. We will write our function here, and that's called by the student that gets fetched. All right. That makes it time to add MongoDB to our subdocument. Well, we're going to say students.articles.push, and we're going to push it a new record with the title MongoDB. The push we write here is a JavaScript operation, which is used when we want to add a new element. So since the articles, well, becomes an array, I've used this operation, okay? Now, you know from previous lessons that writing the new record here doesn't affect my database. I mean, it's not going to be saved right. In order to do that, I do need to save it. So, okay, I'll say student.save. Now, before we continue any further, we'll look at our to-do list once more and check off what we've done so far. Makes it feel better. So, we created Jason. We saved Jason and fetched him. Then we saved him again. Well, it's now time to fetch him again and write the assertion. So flip on back to your code editor and write .then again and write the callback student.findOne. Grab my student Jason. Okay, I want to make something clear before moving on. There's only one thing missing here. Can you find it? I have to add here a return statement in order to return the promise and fetch my student, right? I hope you didn't forget that. I know you're going to say, well, there is no return here, but my promise has returned. This is about the curly braces here. Looky here. There's no curly braces, right? So my promises automatically return. However, since I add curly braces, I must add the return statement in order to enable promise to return. You following, right? So this callback is only called if this promise successfully returns. Cool. So everything's okay. It's okay for now. So let's continue. Well, there is one thing left. Another .then, with a student's return from previous then. And now I will write my assertion here. So now I want to access one student and test to see if he has an article with the title of MongoDB. You should be able to remember now how we can test it, right? We'll say that student.article0.title, and I expect that the title must be equal to MongoDB. Don't forget the done callback. All right, so let's check to see if it's successfully running. And look at that. I told you everything is okay. All right, so now we've learned how to add a new record to the existing student. So in the next lesson, just as you might be able to foresee, we're going to learn how to remove the record.